My name is Emma. I am a mother now. But 5 years ago, I was just a newly married girl with big dreams in my heart and not much in my hands. When my husband and I got married, we didn't have our own home. We lived in a small rented room. It had only one window and a tiny kitchen. But we were happy. We used to sit on the floor, drink tea, and talk about our future. I remember one night, I looked at my husband and said, "Someday, we will have our own house." He smiled and replied, "Yes, a house with a little garden and a room for our child. But houses are expensive. We had to plan everything." My husband was careful and wise. He said, "Let's save money. First, we buy a small home. Later, when we grow, we can sell it and buy a bigger one." I agreed. It sounded like a simple, safe dream. But my mother? She had other plans. She said, "Why waste time? Buy a big house now. I will help you." At first, I said, "But we don't have enough money." She smiled and said, "Don't worry. I'll give you some money. Your husband's parents can help too. And when the baby comes, I'll take care of her. You and your husband can keep working. You'll only have to pay a little every month." Her words felt like warm light in a dark room. I looked at her, my heart soft with hope, and said, "Really? Mom, you'll help us?" She touched my hand and said, "Of course, I'm your mother." I believed her. She was kind. She always helped me in small ways, so I trusted her big promise too. My husband and I agreed. We bought a big home. It had more space than we needed, but it was beautiful. It had light walls, clean floors, and a small room that we would paint for our future baby. I was 9 months pregnant at the time. My belly was round and I couldn't sleep well at night. My back hurt, but my heart was full of joy. My husband worked hard to prepare the house. He painted the baby's room light pink. He hung tiny curtains with stars. Every time he touched the wall, he smiled. He was proud. Then, Lily was born, our little girl. She was so small, so soft. When I held her, I felt something deep inside me, a love I had never felt before. I kissed her forehead and whispered, "I will protect you always." For 3 months, I stayed home with Lily. Every day, I watched her grow. I sang to her, fed her, and cried happy tears when she smiled in her sleep. After 3 months, I gave her to my mother's arms. Mom said, "Don't worry. Go to work. I'll take care of her." I went to work with a heavy heart, but also with trust. I looked back at Lily and whispered, "I'll come home soon, baby." Everything seemed perfect. We had a big home. We were paying the bank every month. My husband and I were working. My mother was watching over our baby. It was a peaceful time. I thought, we had made it. But life doesn't always follow the plan, and even promises can break. Lily was the light of our lives. Every morning, I kissed her tiny forehead before going to work. My mother would hold her in her arms and smile. "Go. I will take care of her," she would say. I felt safe. I believed she loved Lily just as much as I did. My husband and I were tired, yes, but also proud. We had done something many people only dream about. We had a child, We had our own home, and we had a plan. We paid the bank every month. We never missed a payment. We worked long hours, but we kept going. Every time I looked at Lily's picture in my wallet at work, I smiled. I was doing it for her. I often thanked my mom. "Thank you, Mom, for being here for us." She would nod, sometimes kiss Lily's cheek and say, "Of course." My husband used to say, "Your mom is amazing. We couldn't do this without her." But one day, everything changed. It was a quiet morning. I was putting on my shoes, ready to leave for work. My mother was sitting on the sofa, looking serious. "I need to talk to you," she said. Her voice was calm but cold. I sat down beside her. "What is it, Mom?" She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I'm tired. I can't take care of Lily anymore." My heart dropped. "What do you mean?" I asked. I thought maybe she was joking, but her face was serious. "I'm tired," she said again. "I want to live my own life. I want to rest. I want to enjoy my days." "But, Mom?" "You promised," I said. My voice was shaking. "You told us you would help." She stood up and looked away. "I have my own life too. I need to be happy. I can't do this anymore." I sat frozen. My chest hurt. I couldn't speak. When I told my husband, his face turned pale. "What will we do now?" he asked. "We can't afford daycare. Lily is just 1 year old. She's too small to go anywhere else." I looked at him, trying to stay strong, but I didn't have an answer. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. We had made this life based on her promise. We bought a big house because she said she would help. We kept working because she said she would take care of Lily. And now she wanted her own time. Now she was tired. But what about us? What about me? What about Lily? I called my mom later that night. My hands were shaking as I held the phone. "Mom, please," I said. "Just help for a little while longer." She replied, "I'm sorry. I'm busy." Busy? She had time to go to the park. She had time to go to parties, but no time for her daughter. I felt broken, angry, abandoned. I sat beside Lily's crib. She was playing with her toys, laughing and clapping her little hands. She didn't know the storm inside me. She didn't know the fear in my heart. I looked at her and whispered, "You are my daughter. You are my job now." But even as I said it, tears rolled down my cheeks. Because deep down, I was still that same girl who trusted her mother. And now I was left alone, with a baby in my arms and a house to pay for. The weight was heavy, and I didn't know how long I could carry it. Life changed overnight. My mother stopped coming. She didn't call. She didn't ask about Lily. She had become busy with her own life, walks in the park, dinners with friends, and laughter that I could no longer be part of. And I was at home, alone with a 1-year-old child. I stopped going to work. There was no one else to care for Lily. My husband had to continue working. He left early in the morning and came back late in the evening, his shoulders heavy with worry. Every morning, Lily woke me up with her tiny hands. I would open my tired eyes and force a smile. She laughed and clapped. I hugged her tightly, but inside, I felt empty. The days were long. I cooked, cleaned, fed Lily, changed her clothes, played with her, and tried to keep the house in order. She cried sometimes for no reason, and I didn't always have the strength to hold back my tears either. By noon, I was already exhausted. 3 p.m. I usually sat on the floor with Lily. I tried to rest just for a minute, but Lily would pull my hair, wanting to play again. Her joy was pure, but I felt broken. I called my mother once. "Mom, please. I'm tired. I need help." She said, "I'm busy today." My heart sank. How could she forget her promise? How could she forget me? I wanted to scream, "You're the reason we bought this big house. You said you'd help." But I didn't say those words out loud. I hung up quietly and sat alone, watching Lily play with her soft toy rabbit. She was happy, innocent, smiling. She didn't know how hard life had become. My husband came home at 8 p.m. He looked just as tired as I felt. I asked, "How was your day?" "Long," he said. "Hard." He sat down and picked up Lily. She giggled and hugged him. His face softened. "I missed her," he whispered. We ate dinner quietly. No energy to talk, no laughter. Just two tired parents doing their best. That night, I cried silently in bed while Lily slept beside me. I remembered how my mother had once held me when I was sick, how she used to braid my hair, how she promised to always be there. Now, she was gone. Not physically, but in all the ways that mattered. One day I called my friend Anna. She also had a small child. "Anna," I said, trying to hold back my tears. "I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm drowning." She listened quietly. Then she said, "You're strong, Emma. You'll find a way. I know you will." Her words didn't solve my problems, but they made me feel less alone. "Thank you," I whispered. Anna suggested something I hadn't thought of. "Maybe you can ask your husband's parents for help," she said. "Even just a little bit." I nodded, unsure, but willing to try. That Sunday, we visited my husband's parents. They were kind and gentle. They loved Lily and were so happy to see her. After lunch, I looked at them and said, "We need help. My mom is no longer watching Lily. I can't work. We're struggling." They looked at each other. Then my father-in-law said softly, "We're old, but we can help on weekends." That small promise felt like sunshine after days of rain. I smiled and said, "Even that helps a lot. Thank you." That night, my husband and I talked again. "I'll find a better job," he said. "I'll try to find a part-time job I can do from home," I replied. It wasn't a perfect plan, but it was hope. And hope sometimes is all we need to take the next step. Our plan was small, but it gave us strength. My husband started searching for a better job. I stayed home with Lily and began looking for work I could do from the house. It wasn't easy. Some days I couldn't even sit in peace for 10 minutes. But I told myself, I have to try. For Lily. For us. Each morning started early. Lily would wake up crying. I'd hold her close and whisper, "Mama's here." Then I would change her, feed her, and play with her. I didn't have time to rest, not even for a short nap. While she played with her toys, I cleaned the house. I cooked meals, folded laundry, and washed dishes. At noon, I tried to make lunch with one hand while holding Lily in the other. By afternoon, my back would hurt. My eyes would burn with sleep. Sometimes I sat on the floor with Lily and closed my eyes for just a minute. But she would tug on my sleeve, wanting me to keep playing. Still, I smiled, because I had to. At night, after dinner, and once Lily fell asleep, I opened my old laptop and looked for online work. I found small tasks, nothing big, but it was something. A few dollars here and there. Enough to buy groceries, pay a bill, or buy Lily a new toy. My husband worked harder, too. He came home later now, tired, sometimes too tired to speak. But every evening, when he walked through the door and Lily ran to him, his face lit up. "I missed you," he would say, picking her up into his arms. Even though we were tired, we never forgot to be parents. We played with Lily. We told her bedtime stories. We held her close. One evening, my mother called. "How are you?" she asked. I wanted to say, "I'm exhausted, Mom. I'm barely holding on. You promised me help and left me alone." But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I whispered, "I'm fine." She said she had gone to the park and met some new friends. "It was lovely," she added cheerfully. I forced a smile. Lovely, I thought, and I can't even sit down for 5 minutes. I felt angry, but I stayed quiet. Later that night, I called Anna again. I needed someone to talk to. She listened patiently. "Emma," she said, "you are doing something amazing. Don't let anyone make you feel small. You are raising your child with love. That matters." Her words touched my heart. "Thank you, Anna," I said softly. I needed to hear that. The next weekend, my husband's parents helped. They took Lily for a few hours. I rested. I even slept for an hour. Undisturbed, peaceful. That 1 hour felt like gold. Slowly, very slowly, life began to feel possible again. My husband found a new job. It paid more, though it meant he was home. Even less. I missed him, but I knew he was doing it for us. For Lily. I continued working from home. The money wasn't much, but it gave me purpose. It gave me hope. One afternoon, there was a knock at the door. It was my mother. She looked happy. She wore a new dress and had a fresh haircut. "How are you, dear?" she asked. I took a deep breath and replied, "I'm tired, Mom." She looked at Lily and smiled. "She's growing fast." I nodded. "Yes, it's hard, but she's happy. And that's what matters." Then she looked into my eyes and said, "I hope you're not angry at me anymore." I didn't answer at first. I looked at Lily, playing nearby. "I'm doing my best, Mom," I said quietly. My mother sat beside me and held my hand. "I know I broke my promise," she whispered, "but I love you. I just didn't know it would be this hard." I felt tears in my eyes. "I love you too, Mom," I said. "But I needed you." She looked down and nodded. "Maybe I can help 2 days a week," she offered. I couldn't believe it. I smiled and said, "Thank you. That will help a lot." And for the first time in a long while, I felt a little light return to my heart. After that day, something changed. My mother began visiting again, twice a week, just like she promised. She played with Lily, sang little songs to her, and even fed her lunch while I took a break. I sat quietly during those moments, sipping tea and breathing without rushing. It felt strange, but beautiful. For the first time in many months, I didn't feel so alone. Lily laughed more. She loved being with her grandmother. Sometimes she would take Mom's hand and show her toys like they were treasures. Mom smiled, really smiled, not just for show. One day as they played, I stood by the door and watched them. I didn't say anything. I just felt thankful. My husband's new job was going well. He was still very busy, but the money was better. We didn't have to count every coin anymore. We could buy groceries without worry. We even bought Lily a new blanket with little stars on it. She hugged it every night. Life was still not easy. There were hard days. There were nights when Lily cried without reason, mornings when I forgot to eat, and evenings when both of us were too tired to talk. But now, we were not struggling in the dark. We were slowly finding our way. One quiet evening, my husband held Lily in his arms while she played with his hair. He looked at me and said softly, "We're doing our best." I nodded. And that's enough. We weren't perfect, far from it, but we were together. One Sunday afternoon, my mother stayed longer than usual. She helped me cook, folded Lily's clothes, and even swept the kitchen floor. As we sat down with cups of tea, she looked at me and said, "I'm proud of you." I blinked. "Really?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. I didn't understand before how hard it is. I thought I was tired, but I didn't see how tired you were. You never stopped trying. That's something special." I felt my throat tighten. I reached over and gently held her hand. "Thank you for coming back," I whispered. "I should have never left," she said. We didn't need more words. That moment was enough. Lily started saying more words. Mama, Dada, Nana. She would run around the living room, her little feet loud on the floor, and her laughter filling the whole house. Sometimes I just sat and watched her, smiling through quiet tears. This little girl, she gave me purpose. She gave me strength. And even though things didn't go how I had planned, I learned something important. Life doesn't always follow promises. People change. Plans break. But families bend and stretch. Sometimes they fall apart. But sometimes they find their way back. My mother and I, we're not the same as before. There's still a little hurt, but there's also healing. We talk more now. We laugh sometimes. And when she holds Lily, I see a softness in her eyes. I see love. At night, when Lily is asleep and the house is quiet, I look around and feel something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not perfect peace, but real peace. We still have bills to pay. We still get tired. But now we walk together, not alone. And that makes all the difference. I look at Lily sleeping in her bed, hugging her starry blanket. I kiss her cheek and whisper, "We're going to be okay." Because we are. We're not perfect, but we are family, and that is more than enough.